I said no. That was the moment everything changed. I did not shout. I did not argue. I only sent one short email to my sister. I cannot babysit tonight. I have a deadline. Please make other arrangements. I thought that would be the end of it. I should have known better. My name is Ren Baker. I am 32. I work as an architect. I live alone in a small condo that I pay for myself. My life is calm when my family is not involved. When they are involved, it becomes a storm that never ends. My sister, Sloane, is the golden child. My parents treat her like a prize they must protect at all costs. They treat me like the family assistant, the fixer, the one who must sacrifice without asking questions. I carried this role for years. I took the hits. I covered her messes. I swallowed my anger. I told myself this made me a good person. I told myself loyalty mattered. I did not know loyalty would break me one day. The night it happened, a blizzard hit the city. Snow piled against windows. Wind shook street signs. It was dangerous to walk outside. The news anchors kept repeating the same warning. Stay home, protect your children, avoid the roads. I sat at my desk, working on a park design that had taken months of planning. This project mattered to me. It was the first assignment where my boss trusted me fully. I wanted to do well. I needed the quiet. At 5:42 p.m., Sloane called me. I saw her name and felt my stomach tighten. I ignored the call. A minute later, another call came, then a text. Where are you? Answer me, I need you to watch the kids, I am going out. I typed one calm reply. I cannot, please read your email. She did not respond. An hour passed, I forgot about it, I kept working. Snow kept falling. Sirens echoed across the city. I made tea, I focused on my sketches. Everything was quiet. At 7:18 p.m., my phone rang again, but this time it was an unknown number. I picked up without thinking. Is this Ren Baker? Yes. This is Officer Murphy with the 12th Precinct. We need you to come in. It is about your niece and nephew. My heart dropped. What happened? They were dropped off here by an Uber driver. He paused a moment. In the middle of the storm. I stopped breathing. What do you mean dropped off? They told us you were expecting them. I felt dizzy. No. I was not expecting them. Where is my sister? She is not here. We need you to come to the station as soon as possible. I grabbed my coat and ran out. The snow hit my face like needles. Cars crawled along the icy roads. I drove with shaking hands. My mind repeated the same thought. She would not do this. She would not put them in danger. She would not blame me. But she did. When I reached the station, the front desk officer pointed me to a small room. I stepped inside and saw Cooper and Piper sitting on a bench under a thin blanket. Their cheeks were red. Their shoes were soaked. Their hands trembled. Cooper looked up first. He is 8, quiet, sensitive, a boy who never breaks rules. His eyes were swollen. He had been crying for a long time. Aunt Wren, his voice cracked. I knelt in front of them. I am here. Piper, only 5, crawled into my arms without a word. Her small body felt ice cold. Did Mom leave you alone? I asked softly. Cooper nodded. She said you wanted us. She said you told the driver to bring us. And you believed her, I whispered. He nodded again. A deep anger spread through me. It climbed from my stomach to my chest. It felt like a fire I could not put out. Officer Murphy entered. Ma'am, the children told us their mother said you agreed to babysit. I did not agree, I said. She is lying, he sighed. We need to speak with her. We tried calling. No answer. We need to document what happened. I gave him the email, the refusal, the time stamp, the read receipt that confirmed Sloane saw it. The officer stared at the screen for a moment. This helps, he said. It shows clear refusal. But then he looked at the kids and lowered his voice. This is serious. They could have died out there. I already knew that. An hour later, I took them home with me. I fed them warm soup. I wrapped them in blankets. They fell asleep fast. I sat on the couch and stared at the snow falling outside. I waited for my parents to call. I knew they would. They always did when Sloane needed rescuing. At 10:03 p.m., my phone lit up. Mom, I answered by instinct. What did you do? She said. The words hit me like a slap. Mom, she sent the kids in an Uber. In a blizzard, they were freezing. You should stop exaggerating. She told us you agreed to babysit. I stood up. I did not agree. I said no. I have proof. My mother's voice grew sharp. Ren, do not ruin your sister's life over a misunderstanding. Be smart. Tell the police it was a mix-up. No, she gasped, like she had never heard that word from me before. You will cause a scandal. Think about the children. I am thinking about them, I said. My father took the phone. Ren, we raised you better. Fix this. Do your duty as the older sister. I ended the call. My hands shook. I stared at the black screen. A part of me felt guilty. A bigger part felt free. Around midnight, I checked on the kids again. Cooper slept curled against Piper. His hand rested protectively on her back. I felt another wave of anger, stronger this time. I closed the door quietly. I walked back to the living room. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Sloan. A long message appeared. You ruined everything. You left my kids at a police station. You will pay for this. I will make sure everyone knows what you did. I felt sick. Then a second message arrived. A screenshot of a Facebook post. She had written a long paragraph accusing me of neglect. She said I abandoned her children. She tagged family members. She tagged people from my workplace. Comments poured in. Wow, how could she? Ren always acted better than others. My hands went cold. I knew my life was about to break open. And still, I did not regret saying that one small word. No, I did not sleep after that night. I sat on the couch with the lights off, listening to the storm tear through the city. My mind replayed the same image over and over. Cooper's shaking hands, Piper's wet shoes, the way they looked at me like I was the last safe person in the world. My phone kept buzzing. Texts from my mother, fix this. You embarrassed your sister. You made a scene. Texts from cousins I had not spoken to in years. I saw the post. Did you really leave the kids at a station? I turned the phone face down. No one asked if the kids were all right. No one asked if they were warm. No one asked what actually happened. At 8:30, Marian called. She was my boss, calm, professional, honest. She said, Ren, come in at 10. We need to talk. I knew she had seen the post. Sloan had tagged everyone she could. My workplace, my aunt, people from high school. At 9, there was a knock on the door. When I opened it, Declan stood there. Tall, pale, snow on his coat, the father of the kids. A man who lived under Sloan's shadow for years. He said my name. Quiet. The relief on his face when he saw his children hit me in a way I cannot explain. He stepped into the bedroom and stared at them sleeping. Their faces were soft, warm, safe. For the first time that night, I saw his shoulders drop. He whispered they could have died. I told him I knew. He told me what Sloan had said to him, that I begged to see the kids, that I insisted on babysitting. That he should drop them off with me no matter what. Then I showed him the email, the refusal, the timestamp, the read receipt. He read it twice. His jaw clenched with anger he had held for years. We talked quietly, in the hallway, away from the kids. He told me he had almost filed for custody months ago. He told me he had a lawyer's card in his wallet. He told me fear kept him from using it. I told him fear kept me from standing up to my parents. Fear of being the bad one. Fear of being blamed, fear of being alone. By the time he left, we both knew we could not stay silent anymore. I went to work with a knot in my stomach. The hallway felt longer than usual. People love drama. They read it fast, they judge even faster. Marian met me in a conference room. She had printed the screenshots of Sloan's post. The sight of those papers burned my face with shame I did not deserve. She asked, is any of this true? I said no, no excuses, just the truth. She listened. She watched my face, then she pushed the papers aside. She said, Ren, I believe you. HR asked if we should take action. We will, but not against you. Your job is safe. Her belief hit me harder than Sloan's lies. Someone finally believed me. Someone finally looked at me without suspicion. On my lunch break, I called Declan. He had already contacted the lawyer. Her name was Alina Russo. He told her everything. She wanted to see both of us that afternoon. I left work early and drove downtown. Alina's office was quiet and warm. Certificates lined the wall. Court sketches framed in black. A woman who looked like she had won battles most people never saw. She said, tell me everything. So we did. I told her about the email, the police station, the Facebook post, the threats from my parents. Declan told her about Sloan's drinking, her mood changes, her past neglect, the bartender incident with Piper wandering outside. Alina took notes without interrupting. When we finished, she leaned back. She said, your sister committed child endangerment. She also committed libel. If she lies in court, that becomes perjury. But you need evidence. I told her about the email. She said we needed more. The Uber logs, security footage, recordings of conversations, proof of pressure from my parents. I felt sick. Recording my parents felt wrong, but Alina's voice stayed calm. She said, you have been the family's scapegoat for years. You survived by staying silent. Now you survive by listening but recording. Declan asked if it was legal. Alina said yes. In this state, recording your own conversations is allowed. She said something else, something that changed everything. She said, we need to let Sloan talk in the first hearing. She will lie. It will be damaging. People will believe her. But when we reveal the evidence later, she will fall on her own words. I sat there in silence. This was the opposite of my entire life. I always fixed things early. I always protected her. I always shielded her from consequences. Elena asked, "Are you willing to let her dig her own grave?" I thought of the kids sleeping in my bed. I thought of the blizzard. I thought of the fear in their eyes. I said yes. That night, my parents came to my apartment without warning. They pushed their way in like they owned the air here. My mother asked where the children were. I told her they were sleeping. She said she was taking them back to Sloan. I said no. My father said the police report made me look bad and could be fixed if I told them I forgot about babysitting. He said, "Be responsible. Fix this. Do the right thing for the family." Only this time I pressed record before they walked in. My mother said Sloan was fragile. She said I was ruining her life. She said I was cruel. My father said, "Protect your sister. She needs you." Neither of them said the word safety. Neither of them said the word children. Neither of them said the word truth. I looked at them differently. Calm, cold, I no longer saw parents. I saw two people who wanted obedience, not honesty. I told them I was not lying to police. I told them the kids were staying with us. I told them the cycle was ending. My mother stared at me with a look I will never forget, like she was losing control of something she had gripped for 32 years. She said, "You will regret this." I said no, "You will." The recording caught every word. They stormed out. The apartment felt lighter the moment the door closed. When I went to check on the kids, Piper reached for my hand in her sleep. Cooper shifted closer. I sat on the floor beside the bed and let the quiet settle around me. This was only the beginning. The first hearing was coming. Sloan would lie. She would paint me as jealous and unstable. My parents would support her. But for the first time in years, I did not feel small. I did not feel powerless. I felt ready. The first hearing came fast. Too fast for comfort, not fast enough for justice. When I walked into the courtroom, people stared. Sloan had posted again the night before. More lies, more comments, more sympathy for her. Declan told me to ignore it. Elena told me to stay silent. The truth would speak at the right time. Sloan sat across the aisle, her hair perfect, her makeup flawless. She held a tissue like she wanted everyone to see how fragile she was. My parents sat behind her. My mother avoided my eyes. My father looked disappointed. They had chosen their side a long time ago. The judge entered. Everyone stood. My stomach twisted. The hearing started with Sloane's testimony. She said she begged me to watch the kids. She said I agreed. She said I forgot about them. She said I abandoned them at the station. She wiped fake tears. She painted herself as the helpless mother. She painted me as the jealous sister who wanted attention. My parents backed her up. They said I always resented Sloane. They said I was dramatic. They said I overreacted. I sat still. I listened. I said nothing. My hands shook under the table, but my face stayed calm. Elena had warned me, let her talk, let her lie, let her bury herself. Then it was my turn. Elena asked me simple questions. Did you agree to babysit? No. Did you clearly refuse? Yes. Did you abandon the children? Number, were the children safe when you picked them up? No, they were freezing. I spoke softly, clearly. I told the story the way it happened. No drama, no exaggeration, just the truth. The judge watched me closely. I could not tell what he was thinking. When the hearing ended, there was no ruling. The judge wanted more information, more evidence, more clarity. That was exactly what Elena wanted. Outside the courtroom, my parents approached me. My mother said, "You embarrassed us." My father said, "You are destroying the family." I said nothing. I only walked past them and into the hallway. Declan caught up to me. He said, "You did great." But I did not feel great. I felt tired, heavy, bruised in places no one could see. The next week changed everything. Elena obtained the Uber logs, pick up address, drop off address, time stamps, driver's notes. She obtained the security camera footage from outside the station. Clear video of Sloane pushing the kids toward the entrance while she stood in the storm in heels, drunk, shouting at the driver for being slow. Then she obtained something even more powerful, the audio recording from my parents' visit, every word, every threat, every attempt to push me into lying. She listened to it once and nodded. This will end her. The final hearing came 2 weeks later. The courtroom felt colder this time, quieter, more serious. Sloane still tried to perform, still tried to cry, still tried to whisper insults as I passed. My parents sat stiff and pale. They knew something was wrong. They could feel the shift. The judge asked if there was new evidence. Elena stood. Calm, controlled, deadly, she presented everything. First, the email, sent, read, clear refusal. A timestamp no one could question. Then the Uber logs, the driver's statement, his note about the blizzard, his note that the pickup was rushed and frantic. Then the security footage. The video played on a screen. The courtroom fell silent. Sloane stumbled in the snow. She shoved Cooper forward. Piper slipped on the ice. The driver tried to help. Sloane yelled, Then she climbed into another car and left. The judge's face hardened. Then the audio recording played, my mother's voice. Sharp, cold, demanding, fix this. Lie to police. Protect your sister, do your duty, do not ruin her life. My father's voice next. Accusing, threatening, calling me ungrateful, telling me to cover for Sloan, telling me to think about appearances. Every seat in the courtroom shifted. People reacted. People saw the truth. People saw what I grew up with. Sloane's mouth fell open. She whispered, you recorded them. Alina said, yes, and you committed perjury. The judge leaned forward. His voice was quiet, dangerous. He said, Sloane Baker, you lied under oath. You endangered your children. You misled the court. You attempted to fabricate evidence. This is not a custody issue. This is a criminal issue. Sloane froze, her face cracked, her confidence collapsed. She looked at my parents for help. They stared at the floor. The judge ordered immediate removal of the children from Sloane's custody. He ordered an investigation. He ordered her arrest. The officers walked forward. Sloane screamed. She called me names. She called Declan names. She cried. She begged. No one helped her. When the officers took her away, I felt something break inside me. Not guilt, not sadness, something old, something heavy, something that kept me quiet for years. It was finally gone. Declan was awarded sole custody that day. Judge added something unexpected. He named me permanent emergency guardian. He said the children felt safe with me. He said I had shown responsibility and care. He said I was the only stable figure in their life. I cried on the courthouse steps, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears of relief. Declan stood beside me. He said thank you. I told him he did not owe me anything. He said, you saved them. Life changed after that. My parents tried to contact me. I blocked them. They showed up at my building. I told security not to let them in. Months passed. I focused on therapy, boundaries, healing. The kids adjusted. School, routine, warm meals, no chaos. Declan and I spent more time together, at first for the kids, then because it felt natural, easy, honest. A year later, I finished my park design. The firm celebrated. My boss told me she was proud. Cooper and Piper stood beside me at the opening ceremony. Piper held my hand. Cooper smiled more. He laughed more. He trusted the world again. Sloane lost her parental rights officially. She moved to another city, tried to start over. History repeated, neglect. Another child removed from her custody. Consequences she could not avoid. I did not celebrate her downfall. I only felt closure. Calm, peace. 2 years later, Declan and I stood in my living room with the kids arguing about who got the last cookie. The sunlight hit the walls. The room felt full. Warm. Alive. This was my family. A chosen family. A family built on truth and care. Not fear. Not manipulation. Not silence. When I think back to that night, the night I said no, I realize something important. That single word saved all of us.